On this week's MetPy Monday, we're going to take a look at an interesting date-time parsing problem using Pandas. We've got data that's GPS time-stamped, and it actually turns out to be a little tricky to deal with. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week, I wanted to look at a data file where a GPS was time-stamping some data, and interestingly enough, it used a little bit of a strange format that was more of a trick to parse than I had guessed. So we've got the hour, 20, the minute, 10, the second, 0, and then the centisecond, 0 to 99 reading. This particular data file has data collected every 30 seconds. So we can see 0, 30, 0, 30, and so on. Now, it does not tell me what day, month, or year this was collected on, but that would be a lot of redundant information. Though these data are being collected pretty slowly, it still would take a lot of extra bits. So let's go ahead and see how we can tackle this with Pandas. I'm going to import Pandas as PD. From datetime, I'm going to import datetime. And we're not going to worry about the centisecond because we see it's always 0 here. There are some other ways that we could do that. We could string parse that off and divide by 100 to get fractional seconds, for example. But first, let's just see how Pandas interprets this file to start with. I'm going to use read CSV on my file, which is gpsexample.csv. I'm going to give my columns names, time, and temperature. And then I'm going to parse, or attempt to parse, the time column. I'm going to use Pandas, the toDateTime method on df time. And let's see what happens. Well, we see that didn't exactly work out how we wanted it to. If we don't try to parse time at all, we just get a string there, or a number. But that's not useful, so this is what we'd try first. But it turns out that we're being interpreted as, has anybody got it? Yeah, so we're being interpreted as number of microseconds from January 1st, 1970, or the beginning of Unix time. So that didn't quite work. Now it ran, and if you don't QC your data, make sure that Python's doing what you want. You might just go on and write this out and plot it, and it could take a while before you saw that. But we were being good scientists. We looked at the output and immediately see that that is not working as we expected it to. So the next thing we might try is specifying a format. I'm going to say that my format is an hour, minute, second, and then 2 zeros. Okay, now we're closer. We've got hour, minute, second, hour, minute, second. That looks like every 30 seconds from 2010, which is what I know I've got. But now we're January 1st, 1900. That's definitely not right. In fact, these data were collected today, let's say. So how can we do this? I would think that there would be a way in datetime or toDateTime to say, I want to reference to this beginning time, but there's actually not. It turns out that doing something like that just asks for problems with different time zones and different bases and leap seconds and all kinds of things. You could use a time delta and loop over and apply it to everything in our column or our data series, but that's not very efficient. We don't like looping, especially with Pandas. So we can do it yet another way. going to create a variable called today. and it's date time UTC now. And I'm going to string format that as the current year, the current month, the current day. So if we look at that, 2021, 10/26. So there's our year, month, day UTC. Now we can do the same thing. So I'm going to copy our cell from up here. But I'm going to set my time column to be today plus df time. Now remember, right now it's interpreting time as a number, and adding that string and number aren't going to work so well. So we need to specify that it's as type string. And let's comment out this next line and see what we're getting. So now our time string is year, month, day, hour, minute, second, centisecond. That contains all the information that we need for a complete date parsing. So now I just have to go down here where I'm modifying my toDate time call and add a few more things in. Year, month, and day. Now we've successfully parsed that time. It's complete with all the components that it needs. And I can do things like import matplotlib and our matplotlib inline magic. And we can make a plot of time versus temperature. And we have those nice date times now on the x-axis. So getting things formatted as date times, though it can be a little bit of a pain, just takes a little bit of clever thinking most of the time. And very few instruments are reporting things in the standard ISO format, I would say. You get all these very odd manufacturer-specific things that are done for good reasons, but maybe don't make your life the easiest. I hope that you found this useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.